Ah, the Middle Ages. Endless war, elaborate means of torture, plagues, and excessive simping. Don't you ever wish we could go back to those days?
No.
Well, neither do I. But today we're gonna get a taste of that world regardless, because we'll be getting the Platinum and the 100% completion for Kingdom Come Deliverance. I stumbled across this game accidentally when I watched the trailer for the sequel in the summertime.
I intend to wage war, not parley.
Suffice to say that Kingdom Come has struck my curiosity, and I was in luck because the regular edition for the game was on sale for only $5 at the time. The universe was essentially begging me to play this game at that point. And based on how much time it took me to complete it, I'd say I got my money's worth out of it. So sit tight, grab some snacks, and let me tell you how I clawed my way to every trophy in this game. In the first few minutes of the game, we get introduced to our protagonist and the world in which he lives. Henry is a more or less regular teenager in a more or less regular village of Bohemia.
Wait, what's this?
That looks like an injury from fighting.
Oh, Henry.
And I'm correct. I actually know this because I've had similar injuries before. But Henry is also the son of the blacksmith, so for our first quest in this game, we had to gather the materials needed to make a new sword for the local lord, Sir Radzig. But for my first trophy, Firestarter, I had to mess that up entirely. Oh Jesus, no, I was seen, no! Yeah, I stood no chance here. 0% chance I could beat him.
Maybe next time you'll think twice about breaking the law.
Oh, I think that means we're under attack. And I also think that means they're gonna release me. Nope, you die in jail just before the game even starts. But hey, we got a trophy for it at least, so don't fret. However, I was able to get what my father needed a little bit later, thus completing the quest.
It's magnificent.
Indeed it is. The Lord be with you.
The
My
Lord be
father
with
sent
you
me
too,
these
but
things.
who are you? Oh, that's just Teresa. She's just another side character, definitely not important at all.
We did a fine job.
I would expect nothing less from such a renowned swordsmith.
Damn, you really must need that sword, don't you?
Those days are
Otherwise you
gone.
wouldn't have come here personally.
Would you like to try it?
Oh, Jesus. Oh god, I really hope I don't have to fight in the early game because this guy does not know how to wield a sword at all. Well, I definitely jinxed myself because not 2 minutes after I said that, a big ass army showed up to my doorstep, killed everyone, including my parents, and then I had to escape to another castle called Talmberg to warn them about the invasion. Oh, and I also got a trophy for all of that. One odd thing about the army, however, was that it primarily consisted of Cumans. What are Cumans, I hear you asking? Cumans were steppe nomads of Turkish origin. In simpler terms, picture a Mongol that likes kebabs. Anyway, before I went to Talmberg though, I had the chance to save Teresa from the Cumans, for which I'd be granted the trophy Cavalier. And in typical sim fashion, I didn't disappoint. Cavalier, that's Teresa's trophy, yup. Come on, come on, come on. Run, run, run. Nice. Off to Talmberg then. Oh, come on, bro. They're gonna chase me all the way to Talmberg? Come on. That guy is still on my ass. And my horse is out of breath. Great.
Quickly, everyone! Get your asses here!
Hey! And loose!
Yeah, cry about it.
Someone give him a drink. And bring hot wine and bandages.
Now, you would think that after this entire ordeal, Henry would want to sit tight and do everything in his power to stay in the castle, right? Wrong! Apparently, Henry got it into his head to go back to Skalitz to bury his parents, and for our next trophy, Awakening, I had to find a way to sneak out of the castle.
I'm sorry, my friend, but I can't. You'll have to persuade Sir Robert, or think something up so I don't end up in the ship.
Yeah, he does have a point.
What am I supposed to do?
How should I know? Maybe some disguise?
A disguise, you say, huh?
Talmberg's
Yeah, I think that will suffice.
I need to get out of here.
Then I'm afraid you're out of luck. Ah, I see.
Skalitz, here I come. Hey, at least there's an upside to all this. Unlike most origin stories that involve orphans, you actually get to bury your parents, because the army's actually gone. Indeed, at first it seemed like Henry was lucky and we wouldn't face any problems with the burial. And then this happened.
We're to rob you of everything you've got.
What do you think, guys? You think I can clutch the 1v5?
Nope.
Evidently our luck hadn't ran out yet, because just before Runt was ready to deal the killing blow, a detachment from Talmberg showed up and drew him away. They then dragged Henry out of there, and this is basically the end of this game's tutorial phase. Hey, don't blame me, I told you this game is long. Evidently Henry was taken to a city called Rataj by who other than Teresa. She apparently had found a way to escape the massacre, and it looks like saving her earlier was already paying off dividends. And after getting chewed out for disobeying orders by Lord Hanush and Radzig, who by the way also escaped Skalitz, we joined Radzig's militia and finally get the trophy Awakening. Awakening! I hadn't gotten a trophy in a pretty long time. Nice. We get our next trophy buddy while completing the quest, The Prey. Lord Hans and I had gotten off on the wrong foot the previous day. And as punishment, Lord Hanush sent us on a hunting trip so we would settle our differences. But mostly so the real adults could do some actual work.
If that's the way you want it, peasant.
I really don't like you, Hans. Matter of fact, if I wasn't a God-fearing man, I'd just kill you here and say we got ambushed by bandits or something. And I'd probably get away with it too.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
We get Ranger. That's cool. Guess I haven't been hunting all this time for nothing. I mean, besides sticking it to Hans. Unfortunately, the trip took a turn for the worse, because Hans managed to get captured. By humans, not bandits. So for my next course of action, I had to save him. Shit, I can't stab him? Oh fucking he turned around. No! Yo, back the fuck up, bro. Finally, Jesus, bro, he took 6 arrows to the chest. Okay, thankfully this guy was easier.
It's Lord Capon.
Oh nah, this is some crazy glaze right here. Hans is fine, bro. He just got beat up a little bit. He's gonna survive though. Saving Hans ended up working in my favor in more ways than expected, since now Hanush trusted my competence, so he invited me to investigate a raid on a village close by. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the specifics. Essentially, it came out that one of the villagers might have known the raiders, and I had to track him down, which took an enormous amount of time, and I had to grill him for information. There you are, you piece of shit. I've been looking for you everywhere. And after giving me the location of one of the raiders, I also had to save him from the bandits he was hiding from, which in the end granted me the trophy Ginger. We get Ginger, and we're about to get something else. Horsemanship level. Better than nothing, I suppose. Since I had essentially gotten a promotion now, it was time to do what any man in this position would. Get some cheeks. Remember Teresa from earlier? Henry actually has had a crush on her since Skalitz. But unlike you and me, Henry isn't afraid of women. He actually asks them out on dates. Well, not the typical ones, but still, it's the effort that counts. Bruh, is this chick retarded? Whoa, hold on. Henry bought a stand-up business, hold on. Okay, this is way too graphic for me to show on YouTube, but I think you guys can imagine what's going on here. McLovin. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've watched anything this graphic since the old God of Wars. Bro, this guy always taxes me, bro. I always give you good shit, and you always give me shit prices. Are you, like, Remy the Icon's great-grandfather or something? Scrooge. Well, at least I got a trophy out of that. Since I now had a girlfriend and some money in my pockets, I eventually continued the investigation about the raid on Neuhof. My leads led me to a village called Uzitz, where apparently one of the bandits used to live there. Unfortunately, the priest wouldn't answer my questions, something about the sanctity of the confessional, so I had to come up with a way to get him to talk. So I tried to get him drunk. Unfortunately, even that didn't work, but I did get the trophy Sinner, so at least I didn't leave with empty hands. After that, I put the investigation on hold again, mainly because I wanted to get a better overall feel for the game, so instead, I did side quests, I trained, and I also apparently ate too much. But eventually, the side quests led me to Talmberg, where Lady Stephanie apparently had a job for me. Bro, you need all those things for a freaking wedding? They're all over the freaking map too? Okay guys, as you can imagine, this is gonna take a while.
One day later.
Okay, sweetheart, I got everything you needed.
This shirt was my father's. He was built very much
Whoa,
like you.
Is she flirting with me?
What's more, if you were to leave us again,
Okay, yeah, she's definitely flirting with me.
I don't mind.
Okay, I think you guys can imagine where this is going. Casanova! The trophy name doesn't really make sense, because technically Henry's a virgin. And he actually stayed a virgin because I reloaded the save just like I did for Teresa earlier. But, as we all know, life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, and that unfortunately is true in video games too. Shortly after that, I ended up doing a small stint in jail for something completely unrelated, but I guess you can call that karma for smashing another man's wife. On the topic of unrelated things, throughout this time I had been reading books to increase my skill levels, and eventually I got the trophy Bookworm once I got to my 20th. But aside from higher levels, I also needed more money.
You're broke! You're fucking poor!
So, in order to escape the Matrix, I resorted to some rather unorthodox ways to get some money. Okay, how about this?
Aye.
Sweet, easy money. We get money and a trophy, that's lovely. But I also helped out my friends from Skalitz by finding them jobs, so I guess I'm not that terrible of a person, right? Right?
Thanks, Henry.
Right? Unfortunately, it turns out they weren't made for a 9 to 5 either, so they too eventually resorted to pulling some shady shit to make a living. Only their schemes were much riskier than mine, and also required me to commit theriocide, which was kind of fucked up. Eventually, they made up a scheme to rob the quarry in Talmberg, which they needed my help to do since I had connections there and all. But as I had become quite a liability at this point, and since there was a trophy named Judas where I needed to betray them, I decided to do just that. First, I had to find where the money is being kept and then steal it myself. Come on, there we go. Once I had done that, I had to plant some evidence in the tavern to make my bullshit story more believable. And lastly, I had to go back to Talmberg and tell Sir Robard what my friends had done with his money.
Them, the bastards.
I overheard something in the ale.
And that is what he decided to do with us. This is why the quest is called...
Dead bodies.
That's the trophy, Judas, thank you very much. What I was trying to say is, that's why the quest is called Gallows Brothers. However, I would need my friends alive for a trophy that I would be getting later on, so I redid this quest on a previous save in a manner that they wouldn't die. For my next trophy, Bad Trip, I needed to complete the quest Playing with the Devil, where I was tasked to investigate some witchcraft allegations by my dear friend, Father Godwin.
I want you to go and see her.
Oh, so now you need my help, do you?
I know she lives in...
The herb woman that Godwin was suspicious of turned out to be supplying some villagers with a hallucinogen, but when I went to ask them, they would not tell me why. So I had to wait till nightfall when they would gather in the woods for the ritual. And that ritual turned out to be nothing more than the medieval equivalent of smoking weed under the bleachers. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed. I expected something way more interesting. But seeing as this is the 15th century, the witchcraft allegations made the locals want to kill the women. And although I saved them, Godwin still scolded me for killing these guys, even though I explained to him explicitly it was self-defense.
I had to kill them.
Bro, I lost reputation. Bro, there was nothing I could have done to fucking satisfy you, bro. I'll be taking care of your mom, brother. After dealing with Godwin's mom, I traveled back to Rataj, where apparently a bunch of executions were set to take place. But the catch is, they were bringing in a new executioner for them, which made the city's actual executioner feel like they were trying to replace him. This sounds extremely weird being said out loud. Anyway, my job was to sabotage the 3 executions to make the new executioner look bad. So firstly, I had to find out how the 3 guys would be killed according to the severity of their crimes, and after doing that, I had to either damage or replace the executioner's tools. And this was the end result. Damn, I glitched the voiceover. And that is one ugly laugh, by the way. Holy Jesus. With that behind me, I went back to investigating the raid on Neuhof, this time by asking around Ledechko for the whereabouts of a bandit named Heineck. Long story short, the tavern keeper snitched on Heineck, who then snitched on another bandit called Timmy, who then snitched on the gang's location. Yeah, these guys are not exactly the best of criminals, are they? I then went along to scout out their camp, and that's when I got the Trophy Traveler for discovering every major location in the game. Then I bolted straight back to Radzig to report what I saw, and finally it was time to attack the settlement and get revenge on Run for stealing my sword. Charge, boys! Charge! Where are you going? Where are you going? Why are you running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
You bandit scum! Do you have anything? No, you don't. Hack them into pieces, lads! That's right! Oh, oh shit, I hit my own guy. You human cowards. Die. Die in the face, that's right. Whoa, 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 whoa. I have to be a little careful because I'm running low on health. We're through. Cut them down, lads. Look at him, look at him, look at him run. Run, Ricky, he running. Run, Ricky, he running.
Run, Ricky, running. But then again, maybe you've had some practice. I hope so.
For someone who was running like a little girl a few seconds ago, you sure took a lot of shit. Okay, I have to be a little bit careful because I took a lot of damage in the previous fights. Ooh, shit. Oh my god, I thought that was the end right there. Oh, my perk is activated. Oh, it's so over for you. Oh, it's so over for you. Let's fucking go. I told you I would hack you into pieces now. I did tell you that. Oh shit. That's kind of OD. I'm not sure I can show that on YouTube.
I will make you pay for this.
Oh my god, who are you now, bro? And why? That's a noble too, you can tell by the clothing. Oh sweet, I get my own room now. Finally. And we get Runt. That's lovely.
I'm afraid you were right when you said these hostilities wouldn't end at Probisla.
Oh come on, what's wrong now, bro? What was wrong was that a village named Merhojed had been attacked by another group of bandits. Unlike Neuhof, however, they had managed to push them back and capture a prisoner, so I was sent there to interrogate him. But as it turned out, once I got there, things weren't as good for them as I expected. Apparently some sort of plague had afflicted this village after the raid, and for my next trophy plague doctor, I had to figure out what it was and find the means to make a cure for all the sick villagers, preferably before they died. Alright, this is probably one of the trickiest quests in the game. Luckily I have a guide right here to help me. Firstly, I have to go to the monastery in Sasau and find their pharmacist.
You look in the breviarum to sickness causa.
Alright, time to play doctor. It's poisoning from water. Oh crap, I need charcoal. Okay, I think I have everything I need. Time to start cooking. Cooking potions, not meth, for the guy in the comments. Here's some for you, here's some for you, some for you. Alright, I think I'm done. And now we wait.
1 day later.
How's it looking?
I'm glad to see you, Henry. I'd like to...
Oh, that's a relief.
Bling!
No,
There's the trophy, Plague Doctor. Bro, I literally do everything in this game, really. Like, I fight, I hunt, I cook, I clean. And I have a ring. I'm not married, but I do have a ring. After treating the villagers in Merhojed, I was finally allowed to question their captive, who gave us information about a counterfeit money smuggling operation, which I then passed on to Sir Radzig. All this time spent on these quests had honestly made the game a bit chaotic, and it was finally looking like it would start to slow down. Until Radzig said this.
Good luck, son.
Wait. Hold up, what do you mean, son? Did you mean that literally? I'm confused. What? Yeah, we're gonna come back to that at another time. For now, I had to deal with the counterfeiters I mentioned earlier, which meant I had to go play detective again, but it wasn't as hard as the raid investigation was. Colombian drug lord looking at... Like, look at that physiognomy, you know? However, shortly after that, my services were needed back at Rataj again. Apparently, one of Captain Bernard's cousins had been raiding in the countryside close to Neuhof, so for the trophy robber baron, I had to deal with that.
Wouldn't it be better to...
Parley with robbers?
I'd rather do this diplomatically, so I can finish the quest faster. Okay, I don't want to make a decision yet, so let's just see what his problem is. Yeah, I can't let you leave with the loot, bro. I'm sorry. Find somebody else to raid.
That's a very generous offer. There's no denying you're a good negotiator, lad.
That went exceptionally well.
I promised Wolflin safe conduct out of your territory, on condition he leave all the loot he took.
I must say, Henry, after all that's happened recently...
So am I.
And I think
Cool, I believe I'm entitled to a trophy here. Indeed, Robber Baron. Shortly after that, the Colombian drug lord from before agreed to give me some information about the counterfeiting. Long story short, a dude named Eric was organizing an insurgency in Sasau, so Radzig tasked me with infiltrating the ranks to find out what's what. The good news was, I knew exactly where to find the recruiters. The bad news was, joining them would prove to be a messy endeavor. See, in order to prove my loyalty to them, I had to kill a monk inside the local monastery. Well, he was a banditer monk, but still, these dudes were essentially asking me to do a no-exit job, because once I was in, getting back out would prove to be near impossible. Another problem was finding someone to go in his stead, but luckily I solved that problem pretty quickly with some alcohol and a bit of smooth talk.
I could only steal that...
Here you are.
And after reciting some Latin gibberish and a quick tour, I was now officially a monk. Hello, Pius.
So you're finally sure?
Okay, I can't kill him here because if I do, I don't really have an exit, so let's see what his plan is. Okay, so his plan was to make it look like I killed him and escaped essentially, but in order for that to work, I had to grab some sheep blood, so I snuck in the kitchens at nighttime to retrieve it. And after Pius used it to stage his own murder, we snuck out and we're finally free at last.
Thank you for helping me out.
Sorry, Brody, I can't let you go.
I can't just let you leave.
And now, we're off to the bailiff.
I hope what we did in the monastery was enough, because if it's not, I don't think the bandits are gonna let me join them. Well, the bandits would have to wait for now, because while I was in the monastery, I couldn't do anything besides sleep and pray, so I needed a vacation. So the first thing I did as a free man was ruin all the goodwill I had created with God by gambling away my inheritance. Brother, somebody... Bro, call the cops. I'm destroying this dude right now. You have a gambling addiction. Wrong. Addicts lose. I win, Brody. That's the difference. Run me your pockets, G.
Oh, why did I quit while I was ahead?
Gambler! Fucking hell, finally. That was a pleasant little break, but after that I went back north to Talmberg to check on it, seeing as I was basically their fucking duke at this point and all. I mean, I did boink Sardivish's wife at the end of the day, for Christ's sake. All jokes aside, the real reason I went to Talmberg was because the huntsman had a problem with poachers. So he essentially wanted me to find out who was stealing his game. And I did, only things were so much more complicated than I could have ever imagined. See, this guy right here, he used to be the huntsman in Talmberg. He left the town because he was framed for murdering a dude by the dude who's the huntsman now, because they apparently both wanted the same woman. Long story short, I decided to help him clear his name, and this is the plan he made up.
Working out how to get Nicholas.
And how would you do that?
Simple. I've had the priest in Janowitz write me up a parchment. When Nicholas signs it, he'll...
How do you want to force him to do that?
It's plain enough. We'll kidnap Margaret.
Okay, I'm guessing it's gonna be easier for me to abduct her at nighttime, so I'm just gonna wait till the sun goes down.
A few minutes later.
Come here, bitch.
Have you seen my wife?
Yes, I stole your bitch. Now sign this.
There.
Thank you.
Now
Pleasure
tell
doing
me,
business with you.
Who's going to be my master hunter here?
Henry here.
Master Huntsman. Bro, I basically own this city at this point. Unfortunately, I couldn't leave the bandits hanging any longer, so I eventually went out to meet them. Evidently, what I and Pius had done did pay off, so they allowed me to join them at a place nearby. And that place was an abandoned fortress called Vranyek. I hung out with the bandits for a little bit, and then I met their leader, Eric. He seems to like me. But unfortunately, nothing good lasts forever, and I was eventually discovered by who other than Istvan, the mastermind behind this entire operation. To be brief, King Sigismund had enrolled the help of Istvan to essentially cause us problems like the raids on Neuhof and Merhojed because we were allied with his rival King Wenceslaus. Welcome to the Middle Ages, friends.
Don't you recognize me?
No, I do not.
You fucking traitor. You throw me to those bastards. And then
Wait, he was one of the guys with Ron Escalis, right? Evidently, Zbyszek wanted to break me out in exchange for a pardon and some money, which I agreed to. Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. I think that's my stuff right here. Yep. You don't see me. You don't see me. See y'all later, bitches. Free at last.
So, we're out. Now it's time for...
Alright, I'll pay you, bro.
Don't worry, I'll keep my word.
Alas, I returned to Rataj, where I explained what I had learned, paid Zbyszek off, and after gathering some troops, it was time to mount an assault on Vranyek. Come on, boys, up and at 'em! Serial killer. That is a very accurate description of what I've been doing the past few minutes.
Henry, where's Toth? You said he was here.
He definitely was, sir.
Sir, we took this one alive.
Where's that rat Toth? Where did he go?
He took most of the men and left.
He writes here about taking some castle. Which castle?
Some nearby castle. Left
Oh my god. He outplayed us.
Could be.
No, bro. So yeah, while we were assaulting Vranyak, Istvan had taken most of his army and captured Talmberg. Of course, we tried to take it back immediately, but that ended in a massive failure and with Radzik getting captured. Then we tried a night raid to free the prisoners, which also failed, so for now we were stuck in a siege, and for my next trophy Talmberger, I had to solve every problem the encampment had. First, I had to find a priest for the dead, and you guys already know who I went to for that. My good old buddy old pal, Father Godwin. It took some convincing to get him to come, but I had basically maxed out my speech at this point, so it wasn't that hard. And I actually maxed out my speech and my level while trying to convince this dude right here to come help us build a trebuchet.
So, have you heard what's been going on?
Bart, wait, I maxed out my speech?
It has.
That's
we want
cool.
to take it back. Master Faithfire has been given the
Level
task
cap
to
as
build
well.
a trebuchet.
Nice. I'm not gonna lie, this was one random ass time for these trophies to pop. Getting Conrad to help proved to also be a whole saga of its own. Basically, I had to forge some documents so he'd be allowed to leave and convince him that some guy he had beef with wasn't trying to kill him. But aside from that, I also had to do other things like hunt for food, buy charcoal, make energy potions. But at last, I fulfilled every demand. Talmberger, finally bro, this quest was a nightmare, holy. I also had done 80 total quests at this point, which granted me the trophy Completionist, although the game has way more side quests than I got the Completionist trophy, that's all that matters. Reinforcements! Finally, something went right. Nope, they're hostiles. Well, not to worry, because it's an ambush. That particular ambush ended up going extremely well, since Eric was among the prisoners we captured. And if I managed to grill him successfully, I'd get the trophy Freud. Luckily, my stats were pretty much maxed out at this point, so passing the skill checks was super easy.
You can understand. They were weak. Istvan's strong.
It kinda sounds like he has a crush on Istvan. That's kinda gay, bro. Unfortunately, even though he had his boyfriend, Istvan still didn't agree to a prisoner exchange. And since he didn't want to cooperate, it was finally time to start making a rain. Damn it, I expected this to be way cooler. Instead, it was the most anticlimactic shit ever.
One day later.
Alright, for king and country, lads. It's over. We won. Oh, now you want a prisoner exchange, do you? You puss.
Oh, they really are heading for Scallops.
Mount up, Henry. You've heard what he'll do if we follow them.
We're not going to follow them. We just have to
Ooh, I like that character development right there. He's finally taking charge, bro. It took him the entire game to do something like that. Ooh, thank God. Istvan didn't violate the agreement. Not gonna lie, I was half expecting him to kill Radzik. With the battle settled, it was finally time to go back to Rataj and celebrate our victory. Or so I thought, because it seemed like there was still one more matter to settle. After the battle, Wenceslaus's cousin had came to ask us to help him convince Sigismund's supporters to sue for peace, and the people entrusted with that mission were me and Hans. Once an apprentice blacksmith, now an envoy. Once a drunkard womanizer, now a battle-hardened lord. And so it was. The two men would ride into the unknown. Wait, why are we stopping?
Look, I can't just go off and get my head
Okay, apparently I need to finish Hans's DLC before we officially finish the game. I was kind of hoping that I would do it after, but it seems that's not really an option. And that was right. Before I could ride into the sunset, I had to help my womanizer friend with his womanizing. To get my first trophy in this DLC, I had to track down a necklace Hans had lost in a bet. My search led me to what was essentially a bandit camp, and in order to get the necklace, I had to win a dice tournament. Holy Christ, bro, that dude destroyed me. I've never lost at dice that bad. You know what, bro? I'm just gonna steal your dice. You've had enough? Yeah, I thought so. I'm not gonna let him go because I want to take his dice, so I'm just gonna kill him. Wait, why are you attacking me now? God damn, bro, I'm getting gangbanged over here.
Hey, yo, pause!
Wow, bro, I really killed the entire camp. You know what, this is actually a good thing because now I can rob them. And there is a trophy for that. And if they were alive, things would be much more difficult. Lord Capon's ghost. See, I mean, I did screw up, but I found a way to benefit from it after all. Now, this quest also had another trophy. I can quit anytime, for which I had to actually win the tournament, so I needed to redo the segment for it. Thankfully, this time I managed to steal the dice properly, and I breezed my way through all my opponents, winning the tournament and getting the necklace and the trophy. Once I got the necklace, Hans got me to put it in the girl's bedroom, along with a love letter that he wrote for her, and at last, he worked up the courage to ask her out on a...
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in
Oh my god, what potion do you need now? Oh yeah, the potion. Well, getting this potion was a whole other saga of its own, because I could only get it from a charlatan in Letechko, who wouldn't give it to me unless I helped him pull a scam to make the money he needed to leave the village altogether. Only this wasn't no ordinary scam, because this dude made me dig up a grave. The details ain't really that important, so I won't get into them, but essentially the goal was to make it look like the village was haunted by the ghost of a dude who had... quite a sad story, so the villagers would buy trinkets from the charlatan. However, now that the jig was up, I didn't have a use for the dead guy's bones anymore, so I could either choose to bury him with his wife and child for the trophy not so Christian burial, or on hallowed ground for the trophy Christian burial. It's also worth mentioning that the charlatan gave me a list of things I could do to make the haunting more believable, but in order to get the trophy Letechko Reverend, I had to go above and beyond. See, the charlatan made me do some tame stuff, steal rosaries, replace eggs with charcoal, make a blood potion, nothing crazy. But on top of that, I also hired some gypsies nearby for help and may or may not have committed a few murders. Even so, there was still some guy who wasn't convinced, so I had to provoke him to go to the burial site where we proceeded to scare the hell out of him.
They'll devour me.
So, like a dream.
I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 with you, bro. I don't give a shit about your sales, I just want my trophy.
Why?
Letechko Reverend. Free at last, bro. Christ, this is probably the most tedious quest I've ever done in my entire life. I got your potion.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of Impotence.
Yeah, okay, whatever you say. Now, Hans, don't get me wrong, if you don't end up cracking buns after this, I'm gonna crack you, bro.
You will hide and prompt me.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile...
What the fuck you mean I need to learn poetry? Oh my god, man, this guy. Henry's a better friend than me, man, I'm telling you. Like, all of this wingman shit is a bit too OD for me. Well, OD or not, I still had to execute this part perfectly for the trophy wingman, even if Hans was a complete idiot who misquoted everything I said.
Gentle night, why linger on? I yearn thus for my love so long. Without her words to still my breast, who shall set my soul to rest?
Gentle night, why linger on? I earned this from my love so long. Whip out your worthy silky breasts. Who shall suck my salty bits?
However, somehow this chick was still into him, so I had to keep her father busy, who had heard the commotion by now, while Hans was upstairs doing, well, whatever he was doing. Oh shit, they getting freaky up there.
Don't try to make a fool of me. I heard it clearly. What was that?
Are you alright? It seems to me you're hearing things other folk can't hear.
But if I ever see you here again, I'll beat some sense into your idiot skull.
Oh boy. Wingman, I'm not gonna lie, this was pretty freaking fun. Your lordship, I brought you new bed sheets. I know you need them.
How did it go with
Henry, it was the most wonderful
True friend.
night of
I know,
my
right?
life.
I practically moved mountains so this guy could get some ass.
And then she took me to Banks.
That's pretty wholesome, not gonna lie.
It's an honour, Sir Hans. When are you going to see her again?
Oh, I'm not going to see her.
Yo, I fucking love this guy, man. I mean, I also hate him, but I do fucking love him. Bro, what are you sleeping for? We got a game to finish. Chop chop.
Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
For anyone who played this game years ago, when it was released, I know it must have killed them that they were forced to wait for a sequel for several years, especially with this epilogue. Great freaking game, man. W game for real. We get a virgin, that's kind of a relief. And we get the end. With the main story behind me, I could now focus on some other knightly duties aside from killing. One of said things was horsemanship, and in order to establish that I had become a master at it, I had to get the trophy Knight Rider by winning the Talmberg horse race. This race was a part of a broader quest in which I had to help a widow from Neuhof sell her horses to Talmberg, but all that was secondary. I was mainly here to race. Hey, yo, bro, this motherfucker's playing dirty, man. He's trying to run me off the road. You know what? I don't feel like getting brake checked by this idiot the entire time. I'm just gonna use a shortcut. I don't see anyone around me, and that troubles me. Oh, never mind, I'm in first place. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Oh my god, I'm dead last. Oh, this isn't looking good, boys. Alright, I'm still dead last, but at least I'm gaining ground. Oh, this is lovely. I can take another shortcut here. Damn it, I'm still last, but I'm like right on top of them. You know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of a gamble here. These guys are gonna take the bridge east, but the river is shallow enough to cross if I go west. I think. Great, I'm in first place again. And right on time too, because all I have to do is go back now.
And here's our champion.
Knight Rider. This was actually pretty fun, not gonna lie. Now, since I had won the race, it seemed fitting to me to celebrate with booze and knock the alcoholic trophy out the way, which practically meant getting drunk, going to sleep, and getting drunk again till I eventually became addicted to alcohol. But I knocked out a bunch of miscellaneous trophies at this stage as well, like Insomniac for not sleeping for 2 days, Sniper for getting 50 total headshots, and King Charming for becoming popular in every village. Now, the latter one was kinda tricky, because Merhojed in particular wouldn't budge unless I helped out their troops, which I could only do in randomized conflict events, and for some reason the game didn't give me one around Merhojed for quite some time. Around this time I started working on the reconstruction of Pribyslavitz as well, for the From the Ashes DLC. Aside from the first quest, in which I had to drive some bandits out of the ruins of the city, the DLC was basically real estate 101. Find cheap labor and then keep dumping capital on the project till it starts generating income. Now, some of the people I asked to join was Fritz and Matthew, my friends from Skalitz, and this is why I previously said I needed them alive, by the way, because once they accepted to come to the settlement, I was granted the trophy Friends Without Benefits. From there was smooth sailing. I had made a lot of money in the game at this point, so I kept dumping into renovations till I was breaking 2,000 groschen in profit a day, for which I got another trophy, by the way. Alas, there was nothing left to build, so we invited Divish over for a quick tour, and he was so impressed that he made me bailiff. And there's a trophy. Bro, damn, I kind of feel bad for cucking him, cause he essentially just gave me an infinite money glitch. After that was done, I shifted my focus back to fighting again, but this time for profit instead of virtue. Well, the money wasn't the actual reason. I already had all the money in the world, as I said earlier, but I did need the Arena Master trophy, so I had to win a couple more tournaments to get it. I believe this is going to be the last piece that I need. And of course I'm correct. Arena Master. With that out of the way, I could now focus on knocking down the trophies I hadn't gotten up to this point, starting with Stealth Killer, which is pretty self-explanatory. After that I did Pilgrim, which was kind of like a collectible trophy because I had to find all wayside shrines and crosses. Then I made 15 types of potions for the trophy Edward Kelly, which is a fitting name considering he was apparently a famous alchemist. And then I did David Horak, which was a trophy about collecting 10,000 herbs. It sounds like a lot, but I was aware of this trophy's existence since the early game, so I had picked a couple thousand already up to this point. And lastly, I did Fighter, the designated trophy for combos in this game. I never really used combos while playing, particularly because I didn't know how to do them, but once I learned, I just practiced on Captain Bernard till the trophy popped. There wasn't much more I could do for the mainline trophies in this playthrough, so for the remainder of it, I focused solely on the DLCs, starting with Radzig's, also known as Band of Bastards. Now, the premise of this DLC is that Radzig hired a few mercenaries to patrol the roads for any wandering bandits and such, and so he sends Henry to keep an eye on them so they wouldn't make any trouble. For our first patrol, Kuno, the leader, decided that we would go east. And so we did, till we ran into a farm that had been raided. And to get my first trophy in this DLC, I had to track down the raiders. That looks interesting. That's a beautiful shield too. Shame I won't be using it, because I like my bastard sword.
I found this shield in a shed along with a letter. Seems like someone left us a message.
Show me that. I know that, Chris.
House of Zul. Alright, I'm guessing those are gonna be the bad guys.
Meaning towards the east. Apart from the
Okay, you're saying they went east? That's good enough for me.
Poor creature.
Looks like I'm on the right path. crap, that's our camp. I didn't understand what I was looking at first. Well, getting blessed by the NPC gods didn't stop my hubris from clouding my judgment, because I charged headfirst into the bandits by myself anyway, and of course I got what was coming to me. And this is basically all there was to the first patrol. Now, before I go into what happened in the second patrol, this is a good time to let Jakey here tell you all about a game these guys have.
No one told you about it? The fellas call it the Ring of Bacchus. Kuno gave us this ring. It's just a worthless bauble. But when we're at the tavern, Kuno pays everything for the man who has the ring. So we steal the ring from each other and try to trick each other.
This is an important piece of information, so just try to hold on to it for now. Now, where were we? Oh yes. During our second patrol, we ran into a woman who had just fled from a mill that was being raided. Kuno, however, wanted to wait till the raiders got too drunk to fight, so for my next trophy, Chivalrous Soul, I needed to convince them to attack right away. And the way to do that was by passing a skill check.
You promised Sir Radzig you protect his fiefdom, and that means his subjects too.
Come on, it's not like their lives are in any real danger.
A bit of fun. Are you fucking
Oh,
serious?
I like this shit right here. Henry's standing all business right now. Hold up.
Oh, alright. It's not the smartest thing to do. But let's go and tackle those fuckers if that's how you want it.
Chivalrous Soul, indeed. I love these moments where Henry is, like, on bad timing. After that, we proceeded to massacre the bandits, and just like that, the second patrol came to a close. Now, the third patrol didn't go so well because we got caught in an ambush, but we got pretty lucky considering we got out of it unscathed. Nevertheless, Kuno had reason to suspect that Jakey knew about the ambush, so he sent me out to find him. I tracked him down to a tavern east, and then I questioned one of the maids about his whereabouts.
But in times of crisis, rules sometimes have to be broken. I know a thing or two about that myself.
Jakey went off yesterday evening with some girl.
Bro spent his money on booze and some ass. I can't even blame him, to be honest, like, that's kind of base.
I heard they went across the fields to the south and disappeared in the pine woods.
South to the Pine Woods,
Her father went
alright?
off.
Oh, there he is.
I picked up this wench at the inn, see? Only the bitch whacked me on the head.
That is what we call karma, my friend.
Spit it out, quick.
Sure. Hagen's planning to lead a raid on Summerpesh himself. Well, glad I could help. So, I'd better get going before someone else turns up looking for me. Maybe we'll meet up again sometime, Henry.
No offense, but it's not a meeting I'll be looking
We get
forward
Pinky
to.
Promise, one more trophy down. Now, this section also had another trophy called Torturer. The only difference was I needed to leave Jakey tied up on the tree for a full day instead of letting him go right away, but the end result was the same nonetheless. Before facing Hagen, however, there were a few trophies I had the chance of getting first, and they involved the ring that was mentioned earlier. See, throughout this time I had been stealing and handing the ring over to each and every guy in the band. But this time I decided to go to sleep with the ring in my inventory as opposed to giving it away. And that resulted in someone else stealing it from me while I was sleeping, which was actually what I was hoping would happen since that got me the trophy lost trinket. After getting this trophy though, I went back on the previous save and continued as before till Kuno eventually had enough and asked me to get it back for him.
Look here, Petter.
Yeah?
I need to have it back.
Well, that's tough. I don't think...
Shit, I'll play you for it, gladly. I mean, I have the best dice in the game. That's an easy dub. And I get the ring as promised.
Here it is. Oh, good. Finally there'll be peace around here.
Game over, and the book on strength, which unfortunately I don't really need. With the ring shenanigans out of the way, we could finally set out to meet Hagen, where I get the chance to get the final trophy in this DLC.
There they are.
I think that means he wants to negotiate?
It seems they want to parlay, sir.
Yep, he does want to negotiate, I was right. Jesus Christ, the dude is drippy. That's the best armor I've seen in this game.
If you accept my offer, on the other hand, you can ride away from here a rich man.
Okay, that's my cue. Time to grab this last trophy. You know, I wouldn't even blame him if he took the offer, but I have 20 speech, he has 7, and I need the trophy, so...
Fine. It seems you have learned something after all.
You'll stay, then?
Obviously.
Mercenary's Honor. That's wonderful. Now it's time to steal that pretty armor Hagen is wearing, though. Not a very good day for you, is it, Mr. Zool? I mean, you lost your life, you lost your men, and now you lost your armor as well. And just like that, the Band of Bastards DLC came to its end. But the DLC craze was not over yet because I still had a woman's lot to tackle, starting with Teresa's part first because it was easier. Now, her part followed the events of the invasion of Skalitz from her perspective, starting from the morning of that day. And for my first trophy in this DLC, I simply had to avoid doing my chores, or procrastinate as the kids call it nowadays. But I couldn't ignore my responsibilities forever, so I had to get on with my chores eventually, one of which was bringing Henry some beer while he was training. But Henry, being the gentleman that he is, was kind enough to offer to teach me swordsmanship. Only he would be the one doing the learning, because for my next trophy, Death by Splinter, I had to beat him in a sword fight. Jesus, I had forgotten how slow you swing when you're starting out in this game. We get Death by Splinter. Lovely. Nah, Henry, you foul for that, my guy. Like, stop flirting, man. You already have a girlfriend. Now, at this point, I already know what you guys are thinking. Drizzy, we came here for the humans, not to watch you act like a little princess. Well, fear not, my friend, because here comes the fun part. Just like you guys saw in the intro, eventually the humans arrived, killed everyone, and Henry saved Teresa while looking for a horse. But there were more survivors after the raid besides Henry and Teresa, and by saving all 4 of them, I'd be granted the trophy Savior.
You're injured. Can I do anything to help?
Something's wrong with my leg.
Okay, your leg's messed up, huh?
Here's a few bandages for you. Yarmila, what are you doing here? How come you didn't flee like the others?
I can't. There's one of those bastards creep.
Okay, I'll try to take him out with my bow. Now, this might go completely wrong, but it's worth a try. Ooh, nice. This went much better than I expected it would.
Are you mad, shouting like that?
But I have to find Pavlena. She got lost when we were running in the night.
It's still not safe here. Shouting like that is asking for trouble.
But I have to find her.
This lover boy ass motherfucker. My guy, the place is crawling with humans. Just leave. Alright, I'll find your girlfriend, bro. Ooh, that's a real shame, that. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I'm just gonna tell him the truth. I don't think lying here would be a good move. Oh man, that was kind of sad. Okay, what is your problem?
Julian? Is it you? Don't be afraid. It's me, Teresa.
Everywhere. They're everywhere.
Where's what? I don't...
Cutter! Woodcutter!
I believe he's looking for his saw? Or axe? I hope that's what he wants, because otherwise I'll have to look at the guide.
Here's your axe. That's...
Cutter!
Okay, yeah, I was right, it was his axe. Okay, it looks like there's only one more left.
I'm trying to get into my goddamn house!
What for? You want to flee like everyone else?
I've got coin hidden there. I'm not gonna just walk off and leave it. I was bringing firewood from the woods. I dropped everything and ran home as fast as I could.
Okay, yeah, that's all I need, bro. Oh my god, bro. I passed this place like 5 times. How didn't I see them?
My, there really is a purse full of groschen here. And a pretty heavy one, too.
What? Who are you?
Oh hell no, I ain't getting robbed by looters now.
Bad rain, really bad rain.
Ouch. Ouch. Bro, stab him, goddamn, what are you doing? Such a useless prick. Thank God I have the dog with me. And the trophy popped, right about time. From this point forwards, there's not much to show from Teresa's story. After rescuing everyone, she kinda went back to the village, got the dog killed, then antagonized Ron while Henry was about to get murked. Crossfade, generic DLC exclusive cosmetic, final trophy upon completion of the quest. Now, the second part of the DLC revolves around a girl named Johanka, former Skalitz refugee, current novice of the Sasau monastery. What was interesting about her was that she had started having divine visions of the Virgin Mary. Her first one in particular involved the Skalitz mines, so she sent me there to check if anything was out of the ordinary.
Alright.
And something was indeed out of the ordinary. I also found a bandit chilling close by who then I killed and tossed down the mine shaft so I'd get the trophy Infernal Justice. Now the reason I knew about this trophy was because for the remainder of this playthrough I was using a guide, because as you're about to see in a little bit, Johanka's DLC is incredibly incredibly complicated. Anyway, thanks to her visions, Johanka grew a bit of a reputation in town as a woman chosen by God. In fact, the people trusted her so much they'd come to her to help them with their problems, and I kinda became her errand boy. In one of those instances, she inspired a prostitute to change professions, and she kind of exclaimed that she hoped more people did things like that. Luckily for her, I knew of a woman like that named Adela. Adela was kind of a side character I passed through while looking for Hynek in the early game, but she had just gotten an upgrade to the characters of significance list because Johanka wanted me to convince her to give up prostitution, so I wrote to Letishka to find her. Only I picked the wrong time to do so because she was in the middle of business at that moment. The guy she was doing business with, however, was also important because I had to rob him before he took off his underpants for the trophy voyeur. Sadly, he was also a bit of a prick, so I had to politely show him the way out so I could talk to Adela in peace.
Word with the bailiff. What do you want from me? Get out.
Adela was hesitant at first, but she agreed to leave her prostitution days behind her and come with me to Sasau. However, on our way back to Sasau, we got ambushed by Underpants Dude, who was clearly still pretty salty for getting cockblocked. Aside from the small hiccup, the rest of the trip was smooth sailing, and eventually we made it back to Johanka.
Give it a while and you'll be happy here.
Lastly, there was also a merchant who needed help named Pavel. Pavel had hidden some money somewhere in the woods a few years back after a deal gone wrong, and he wanted me to go fetch it so he could donate it to the city. The issue was that the place he hid the money was now a human camp, and in order to get the trophy like a ghost, I needed to grab the money without being discovered by the humans there. Alright, that's the camp. Showtime, boys.
I'm here at last.
Let me just save real quick in case this goes badly. Hello, beautiful. Easy as pie.
There really was money there, and quite a lot of it. When you were talking about donating the money for the common good...
The Virgin Mary chose Sasau as the place to reveal her message, didn't she? You don't have to go any further than the Rathaus or the Church of St. Martin.
Personally, I want to give the money to the infirmary because they didn't even have food when I was helping them. If you guys click donate half, you are going to hell, just so you know.
Farewell, Pavel.
God be with you.
Like a ghost. I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to worry because the trophy didn't pop earlier, but it popped now. This, unfortunately, was the last trophy I'd be able to get in this DLC and the playthrough in general. But besides the remaining DLC trophies, I still had the Merciful trophy to tackle for the base game, meaning I needed to get through the game with 0 kills. Which is something I decided to do in Hardcore mode, since Hardcore mode had its own trophies. What's so different about Hardcore mode? Well, there are no autosaves, there's no HUD or fast travel, and making money is infinitely harder. And I'd have to deal with all of those issues if I wanted to get the trophy Hardcore Henry. You think I'm done? I'm only getting started, baby. There was another trophy for Hardcore named Tis But a Scratch. To get this trophy, I had to finish this game with Hardcore with every debuff available in the mode. And lastly, I had to rebuild Pribyslavitz without being able to read for the trophy Trial and Error. So putting all those things together, this playthrough I had to finish the story and 2 DLCs without killing anyone, learning how to read, or even making decent profit from my loot while being exceptionally weak.
This is gonna be fun.
Alright boys, let's get this show on the road. Hardcore, and I died already. Okay, let's try this again. Let's pick all debuffs for the trophy. And we're off. Now Hardcore had one more trophy I forgot to mention called Kingdom Did Not Come, for which I simply had to die once. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't get it super early, but I got killed during the raid in Skalitz because a human spawned right in front of me. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Leave me alone! Oh my god, no bro, hell nah, that's some bullshit. That's not even on me, the game spawned this guy right in front of me. Now it would be barbaric for me to show you guys everything that happened in this playthrough, so instead I'll tell you what I did to get through it. The first thing I did was avoid any and all confrontation, as you can clearly see in this clip. I also chose to go with a mace instead of a sword, in case I did have to fight, which by the way, I did, because the NPC soldiers got destroyed without my help. Lastly, I used Skalitz as an infinite money glitch to get the money I'd need for Pribyslavitz, which I started rebuilding as soon as I could and finished it pretty much before the epilogue.
One eternity later.
We did it, boys. The tournament is over. Now let's see those beautiful fucking trophies pop. Tis but a scratch. Hardcore Henry. Merciful. And Platinum fucking trophy. Finally. It took me 4 months, but I got it at last. The only thing left to do at this point was tackling the rest of Johanka's trophies, first of which was you had one job. In the first errand I'd be running for Johanka, a woman came to her and asked her to help stop her husband from gambling, which I was supposed to do by either taking his money in dice or getting him drunk and robbing him. But instead of doing that, I'd need to get shit-faced myself to get the trophy. I couldn't do that on the previous playthrough because my alcoholism leveled up too much when I was doing the alcoholic trophy. But now I was level 0, so it wouldn't be an issue. A few quests down the line, Johanka eventually asks Henry to confess his sins to her. Now, there was a trophy for this named Full House Sinner, for which I needed to be, well, a full house sinner. The reason I couldn't get this trophy on the previous playthrough was because I had voided condition number 3 when I redid the quest for the trophy virgin. So I technically didn't commit all of the sins, therefore I couldn't get the trophy, but now I could. Oh, and for those wondering about the kill condition, I just did that after the main story, you doofus. Eventually, Johanka's reputation gets so big she gets charged with heresy by the Catholic Church, and I volunteer to be her lawyer. Before the trial, however, I got to meet her judge, Bishop Yaroslav, and to build some rapport with him, I snitched on every religious wrongdoer in the province. Well, that's the low reason I did it. The actual reason was because I wanted the trophy cleric's pet, which I couldn't get earlier because a few of the quests I had to do for it involved performing my natural obligations.
Do you perform natural obligations?
That is all, and I should be getting a trophy here, if I did everything correct. Cleric's pet, okay, I did everything right, thank God. Now, as Johanka's lawyer, I had to set up her legal defense, which involved finding people to testify in her favor, which as you can imagine was super easy, and convince her to show humility in front of the judge, which was not so easy. I had to essentially manipulate her emotionally to make her do that. But at last, the trial began. Objection, Your Honor, you weren't even there. Motion to withdraw all charges. I'm guessing that's a no. Well, I had to try.
Father Fabian, will you tell us what Johanka has been proclaiming?
I believe Johanka is deliberately avoiding the church. Instead, she meets her followers secretly in the woods and preaches to them. Either she made everything up, or the devil himself is whispering in her ear.
It couldn't be the devil. Johanka lives at the monastery, doesn't she? Close to the cave of St. Procopius. St. Procopius, who overpowered the devil and cast him down, did he not? The evil one would hardly dare return to the dominion of the saints to whisper in Johanka's ear. Surely that's obvious.
It's true, Henry. An evil spirit...
I just beat a priest in theology, by the way. I bet all the atheists watching this had an orgasm.
Monsignor, would you please hear the testimony of the respected burgher Pavel of Kolin?
Monsignor, some years ago I hid some money in Sasau woods. Johanka made me aware of my inordinate love of wealth, and I resolved to donate the money in question for the common good of Sasau. I must concur with that, Monsignor, because I was subsequently also visited in a dream by the Virgin Mary.
Do you swear that what you say is true, Pavel?
I swear by Almighty God, Monsignor.
Remarkable.
Okay, this is a big W for us.
Even if it were true, why would Our Lady choose a simple village girl like Johanka?
Monsignor, with your permission, I'd like to draw attention to the work of the great scholar Matthew of Janov. He exalted women like Johanka. He said that God created what is weak in order to bring shame on what is strong. That's why God turns to women who love Christ and blesses them with such visions, so that they can point out and rectify the vanities of men. It can't be heresy if the learned masters of universities write such tracts.
What you say...
Damn, Fabian, this isn't a good day for you today, is it?
Monsignor, please permit me to say one more thing. I heard some wise words at a sermon in Scallis, and I think I should share them here. It's our Christian duty to fight against sin. But we must love the sinner. So I beg you, Monsignor.
I mean, that is Christianity 101, but I don't imagine it will hurt saying this. Please give me the trophy. Please give me the trophy. Please give me the trophy. I'm literally, my heartbeat right now is going crazy. Like, I don't want to have to do this all over again.
Therefore, I ask you to welcome Johanka back.
Oh my god, I did do it! Oh my god, bro, I was nervous as fuck.
Johanka was cleared of all charges of heresy.
Angel of Mercy, golly, bro. After 4 months in this game, It feels good to end on a good note. Oh man, where do I even begin with this game? Well, for starters, it's by far the most content-filled game I've ever played in my life. Each and every quest was special in its own way, and the game itself heavily depended on realistic problem solving, which is a good change of pace from the brain-dead open-world RPGs of today. The combat system is amazing, especially if you play the game the way it's meant to be played, i.e. by using combos, which I didn't do in my first playthrough because I'm a dumbass. There's genuine strategy involved with the combat that, again, no other RPG game gets quite right. The world is also super lively, most of the NPCs you encounter serve a legit purpose, and there are consequences in the way you treat them. The only semi-negative thing I have to say about this game is that there's a bit of a learning curve. Starting out the game feels kinda overwhelming with all the stuff you have to learn and pay attention to, but the prologue does a pretty good job at helping you get the hang of everything. But in all honesty, I'm genuinely baffled at the way an indie studio like Warhorse managed to make a game such as this, especially considering they couldn't even find the funding for it at first. I think this game is a testament to the fact that you cannot compete AAA companies with multi-million-dollar budgets if you have passion. And I think this is where I'm gonna end it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It has been in the works for quite a lot of time now. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe. I promise you I got more bangers coming. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your day.